Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss the absolute nonsense of the Tories' attitude towards asylum again, as the deadly consequences of their failure is once again manifest as several asylum seekers lose their lives whilst crossing the channel. The Sunday papers are blaming all sorts of things, but there is only one cause: that refugees are making dangerous crossings, not because they want to, but because we do not give them a safe way to claim asylum outside Britain. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel. So recent events really should have proven the lie that people crossing the channel to claim asylum here, refugees, the idea that they're all coming here for a job, the economic migrants. Absolutely ridiculous. Would you apply for a job if it required making a journey that could kill you? The Sunday papers are all over this tragedy this morning, of course, but that doesn't mean the public are being informed. The Mail on Sunday are blaming the French. No, it's because asylum seekers are being impelled to make dangerous channel crossings because the UK authorities are not allowing them to make a claim safely. And we set it up for a small number. Like, we set up safe ways to make claims for refugees from Hong Kong and Ukraine. Not necessarily easy ways, but safe. Also, why isn't there a general safe system for applying for asylum? Even Conservative MPs have tried to ask the Home Secretary this in Home Office Select Committee hearings. Why don't we just have a system that allows someone fleeing war or persecution to make an asylum claim? Because if it turns out that they are coming from a safe country and they're perfectly safe there, then the asylum claim will fail. The Sunday Express are blaming the people smugglers, but what is their suggestion? Crack down on the people, on these people smuggling rings. Okay, that'll need to be part of the solution once we deal with the root problem. But on its own, arresting people smugglers doesn't stop it. The Tories have made the operation incredibly lucrative. If you take a people smuggler out of the equation, another comes along to take their place. There's a lot of money in it. The incentives are huge, and we've created those incentives. Remove the incentives. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Accept claims in France. In France, we're already being allowed to build an asylum facility there. Process claims there. If they're successful, we'll ferry them across and let them work in one of the jobs we have serious shortages in. If they're unsuccessful, they'll be deported. They'll never have set foot in Britain. If any channel crossings continue, we intercept them and say to them, what are you doing crossing the channel like this? You don't seem to have a visa. Oh, we're trying to claim asylum. Right, well, our asylum claim centres in France, we'll take you back there. Easy. What's to object to? We wouldn't have to pay out money on hotels, barges, concentration camps and military bases. Their next plan is to use officers and student accommodation. Again, Tory donors making out. After all, we never used to need all of these weird and not exactly wonderful forms of accommodation in the past. It's not like we never used to have asylum claims either. Oh, asylum claims only just appeared in the last few years. No, we just dealt with them. They were either deported or they paid their own way. Also, the xenophobes don't get to complain about housing. Oh, is it any wonder our young can't get a house when we're taking in all these migrants? But the we're full argument doesn't work. Apart from anything else, these same people, these exact same people, are sounding the alarm at the lack of workers in the country. We can't sustain our pensioners. We need more workers. Do we really? I thought we were full. No, we need more babies. How can babies work? Well, they'll grow up in 20 years. No. We need to build more houses and, as importantly, stop allowing so many existing homes from standing empty all the time. The solution to these crises, they're obvious. It doesn't involve spending a fortune on sending a tiny number of refugees to a human rights black spot. It does not involve spending billions on unsafe barges, of which, by the way, the Tories want more, because the last one was a stunning success. £1.6 billion for 3 barges, and we only have one of them. 2 of them went back because we couldn't find anywhere to berth them. Where are we going to berth the others then? £1.6 billion on a barge, which at the moment we can't use because it's a plague ship. No, the real solution involves spending a small amount of money on officials to process claims at the same rate as they're being made. And even that small cost will pay for itself, if nothing else, in saved accommodation costs alone. But we'd actually also make money in the form of higher tax revenues by allowing genuine asylum seekers to work, boost our economy. We've got labour shortages so severe that even the far right recognise it and they say we need to boost our population. But the reality is that they're arguing for that boost in population in the form of more procreation in Britain, which takes 20 years to get a worker out of, rather than accepting refugees in the short term who need the sanctuary from war or persecution. To which you have to ask yourself, well, why is that then? I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the colour of their skin, so it must be something else. Or is it because, the person grows up in Britain, they can have had years of indoctrination by the Tory media before they join the workforce? Is that it? But either way, nothing the Tories are currently doing or proposing is working or could ever work. And that is because, although there are complexities in situations like this, of course, people would say, oh, it's complex. Oh, it's complex. Yeah, okay. But the basics are simple. First, we have large numbers of these dangerous channel crossings because we have closed down safe asylum routes. These didn't used to happen. We didn't used to get channel crossings like this because we used to have safe routes. That's a fact. Even Tories acknowledge this, not all of them. Second, we have a large asylum backlog because we stopped processing claims at an appropriate rate. I mean, yes, since Brexit, the number of asylum claims has gone up. Of course it has, because we voted for that. I say we, the very people attacking asylum seekers right now voted for that. I didn't. So we would have needed to increase the capacity to process claims to take account of the extra post-Brexit claims. Of course we would. But asylum claims remain a tiny percentage of our overall immigration numbers. You look at the papers, you'd think, it was causing massive problems for all sorts of things. It's like, no, it's a tiny number. The incompetence of the government on this is staggering. It is incompetence, by the way. Like, some think I'm mistakenly thinking that their aims are to manage asylum, but the reality is their aims are to stop foreigners living here or something like that. I'm quite sure the government's aims on asylum are not my own, but even their own aims are failing. Therefore, it's incompetence. There's another report out of moderate Conservatives being concerned about how this is looking. The term the nasty party has cropped up again. On every level, Braverman's department is failing. She's failing on a moral level because some people died again, and that's down to her. They would not be dead if she did her job. Never mind looking around for people to blame. It's the fault of forcing refugees to risk their lives unnecessarily. She's failing by her own metrics as well. The asylum backlog's not going down. Although I'm not actually clear if the government want to reduce the backlog. There's mixed messages here. Rishi Sunak says he wants to reduce the backlog. In fact, he's committed to reducing the backlog. So, okay, well, that's government policy. That's the Prime Minister saying it. But Robert Jenrick, who's the Immigration Minister, said that the backlog was useful in dissuading people from claiming asylum. So he's trying to make out it's not incompetence, actually, it's government plan. I mean, it's not useful. The data clearly shows that it has not reduced the number of claims. It certainly hasn't reduced the backlog. But as he is the minister in charge of this policy area, he said the backlog is a good thing. Well, then that makes that government policy. So which is it? Which is it? What's going? Also, it means, by the way, I should point out that he means spending billions on unnecessary accommodation is also good, because that's part and parcel of the policy. But what is going on here? What is the government's policy? The one the Prime Minister stated or the one the Immigration Minister stated? Can't be both. Just another example of how weak Sunak is when his government cannot agree, in public at least, what their policy is. The last time a member of the sort of a shadow minister in Labour tried to make up his own policies, Starmer sacked him. Sunak's letting him shoot his mouth off. But this is failing on a political level as well. It's damaging the UK's reputation internationally, and some Conservatives care about that. All we've had for many years now is soft power, leading by example, persuading other countries to do something. And we have a modern history of persuading other countries to make progress in a range of areas because we went ahead and showed how it could work. That's soft power. It's the sort of thing, the destroying our reputation abroad diminishes us all. But even domestically, people are dying. People are being made ill because we're throwing them on plague ships. We're all giving a fortune in public spending to donors to sustain Jenrick's backlog. None of this is helping the Tories win votes. The sort of people who would be in step with Lee Anderson on this are nonetheless seeing Tory failure. So it doesn't mean they're going to vote for them. Many will just be encouraged to vote Reform UK because of this mess. And for those who don't want to see people suffering and dying, they'll vote against the Tories with a progressive party. There's absolutely no angle from which you can see this asylum bodge from the Home Office and say, yeah, this is benefiting the Tories. Donors, yes. because they're getting money for their hotels, barges or whatever. But for the actual Conservative Party, there's no benefit and only a great deal of damage. It's doing nobody any good at all. It's the classic stupid evil, hurting everyone, including themselves. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.